Behind me is the Great Synagogue of Rome, and if you notice, a really cool feature of this building is that it has a super high dome. Now, there are 900 churches in the city of Rome. However, this dome of the Great Synagogue is taller than all of them. It always was the second tallest dome in the city, second only to the Sistine Chapel. However, in 1929, when the Vatican became its own city and seceded from Rome, this dome actually became the tallest, the number one tallest dome in the entire city of Rome.
Now, there's a reason why this is the second tallest dome in Rome until the Vatican seceded in 1929. And the reason was because the Jewish synagogue was not allowed to be taller than the church. It wasn't allowed to be the tallest building in the city of Rome. Until 1929, it was the second tallest dome. But in 1929, when the Vatican seceded into its own city-state, it now towers over every other church in the city of Rome. Now, what's most amazing about this dome is actually not the outside, but the inside of the dome. Inside the dome, we can't get in there right now for technical reasons, but inside of the dome, there's some very, very interesting imagery. There's a painting of a rainbow, and then on each side of the dome, you've got two evergreens and you've got two palm trees. The significance of the rainbow is very, very interesting because this community, the Jewish ghetto, 900 feet by 600 feet, was placed to humiliate and confine the Jews. It was built in 1555. It lasted until 1870, when about 10,000 Jews lived here, were forcibly lived here. And it's right here on the banks of the river Tiber. Right next to us is the Tiber River, the mighty river, which every year would flood, would expand its banks, and it would flood all the real estate on the banks of the river Tiber. So the Jews were unable to really develop their real estate because it was constantly being destroyed. The significance of the rainbow, like Noah's flood. After Noah's flood, God showed us a rainbow. It says never to flood the world again. That's the significance of the rainbow inside of the great dome of the Shul of Rome, of the Great Synagogue of Rome, to symbolize the Jewish prayer and hope that God would no longer flood their homes here in the Jewish ghetto, which, by the way, today has become the most expensive real estate in all of this magnificent city. But the significance goes further. You see, on either side of the dome, you've got two evergreen trees representing the mighty Roman Empire, and you've got two palm trees representing the Jewish people, like it says in the verse, Tzadik katamar yifrach, a righteous person will flourish like the date palm. The reason that the Romans are compared to the evergreen tree is because the evergreen tree, for three reasons. It's always in season, and the Romans felt that they were gonna last forever. Also, the evergreen tree sucks all of the water, all the nourishment from around it. Nothing else can grow beneath the evergreen tree, symbolic of the Roman Empire that believed that they were going to crush any nation that they conquered. Nobody else would be able to survive underneath their reign. And finally, like the evergreen tree spreads its cones, its pine cones, to be able to pollinate seeds all over, so too the Roman Empire felt that they were constantly expanding. Now, in contrast to that symbolism of the Roman Empire stands the two date palms, because the date palms are referenced in the seven fruits of the Holy Land of Israel, where the reference to the date palm is, it's called dvash meaning honey. When the Torah speaks about the seven fruits of the land of Israel, it's not talking about bee honey, it's talking about date honey, because the importance of the date palm is the honey that comes out of it. Now, whilst evergreens last a long time, date honey lasts forever. There was honey found in the catacombs of the Egyptian pyramids 4,000 years later, and it was still good. It is the ultimate preservative of this world. And thus, the Jewish people are able to outlive the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire felt that they had conquered the Jews. In 69 CE, they destroyed our temple in Jerusalem, and they thought that they were going to crush the Jewish people. But today, there's no Romans to be found. The only place you'll find Romans is when you go to the Colosseum, where you'll see them dressing up for a few bucks for the photo ops with tourists. But the Jews are all over this place. There are so many kosher restaurants here, you can't even count them. The Jewish life is teeming, Jewish life is flourishing here in Rome like it is all over the world, because the date palms of the Jewish people have outlived the evergreens of the Roman Empire.